today. We've had to walk to this location today. It's a little bit more remote than usual. Guys, starting with our disclaimer, we're here today not to cause alarm, harassment or distress or any form of intimidation. Animals are being brought here today.
Yeah, massive trucks.
Animals are in here today. We're here to lawfully protest. We're here to assembly our freedom of speech, and we intend to do that. Look at all the poo and the wee on the floor as these animals are being brought in here today. There are a load of trucks in here today.
Him crying.
There's another big truck in there as well.
Yeah.
So guys, that's our disclaimer. No alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here today to solely be transparent for the industries that won't be transparent to the consumer. Our second disclaimer here today is that we're here not to clash with any non-vegans. We're not here to point fingers or to call names. We're here to show you the truth and the reality. We're here to come alongside you, to turn your head against the industry that have lied to you and that has made good people with good hearts pay for some of the most horrific violence you can ever imagine. As you're coming in the stream, put a 1 in the chat if you're vegan already and you've already removed your support for this violent industry. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you consider yourself a kind person, you have an open mind, you have a kind heart, but you're not vegan yet. And put a 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. You can see it's just this one here, and then it will just go up and down to the side. There you go.
Cool,
Put a 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Please double tap the stream. Please like, share and subscribe. We go all over the UK every single week to bring the reality and the truth to the consumer, because the industry never will. Let us know if the signal strength is good. Let us know if the audio is good. Guys, we're here today to defend the animals, and we appreciate every single one of you being in here with us to defend them. Now, right behind me right now, that big blue truck there, and there's that burgundy truck. There are animals being brought here today. Animals will be coming here. We've had to walk to the location today to come up and just to basically come down on here unannounced to show you the reality and the truth. Because when you do, you catch these things. These industries, they pride themselves on being transparent, and they pride themselves on being humane and ethical. Yet when you come here and ask them to be transparent, all of a sudden you're met with smoke mirrors, you're met with 16-foot spike fences, CCTV. The police sometimes come down here to ask what we're doing. You're met with everything but transparency. You are met with full secrecy. They don't want the consumer to see the reality. 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded, you're a kind person, and you're wondering why we're here today and what we're doing. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. 1, 2, and 3. Please spam it in there. Double tap the stream, like, share, and subscribe.
Awesome.
Why the secrecy?
What can you hear? We can already hear cows.
Yeah,
cows
I can hear them. We're here to, yeah, they're moving around on the back here. We're here today, guys, to literally show you the truth. I want to double down on our disclaimer that we're not here to clash or point fingers. We're here to literally be transparent and show you the reality that the industry don't want you to see. Now, you'll see today, as these animals are turning up here in these trucks, you see the lengths that the industry goes to keep this hidden from you. The lengths that they will go to rush trucks in and not allow the consumer to see the animals. They won't even want you seeing their innocent eyes and ears as they look out of these trucks on their way in to be killed. Why? The reason why is because anyone with an empathetic heart, anyone who can feel compassion and who is kind, when they see animals going in, they remove their support for the industry because they feel bad, they feel upset about what they're seeing. If you were here right now, you'd hear these, I can hear them crying from the layerage. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to that conversation and you're a kind person. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification as we go to different slaughterhouses all through the week to show you the truth. This slaughterhouse today here is an ABP slaughterhouse. This slaughterhouse here is killing cows, dairy cows, and beef cows. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to why we're here. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please like it. Let's get this room full up so when the next truckload of animals come in, the consumer can see actually what they are paying for. You can see the actual individuals as they come past here to die. And they're dying here today for optional products, everyone. This is for milk, for cheese, for burgers. This is for a little bit of their breast milk in your tea or coffee. These products are optional, but there's no option for them. There's no freedom for them. There's no survival for them. Everything is taken from them. Now, you notice that I said beef cows and dairy cows are being brought here today. I'll tell you why. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to what this conversation is about and why we're here. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. 1, 2, or 3, you're going to have to spam it in there. Let's get them coming in and double tap the stream, please. Please like and share and subscribe. Now, the bellows and the cries for mercy behind me are coming from cows. And like I said, beef cows and dairy cows. Now, the reason why I say that is because they're 2 different breeds of cows. One cow is selectively bred for her breast milk. She's forced to have babies and then babies taken away from her and then her breast milk is stolen. When that basically breast milk declines, then she's brought to this slaughterhouse here to be executed. If any of her boys are born. They're executed because males in the dairy industry are considered a waste product. Males do not produce milk, and the product commodified is their milk. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to these conversations.
Truck's
And 3
about to come out
if you
now.
don't care about animals. 1, 2, or 3. Double tap the stream.
How's
We've
it
got one
feel
of these
hearing
trucks coming out here.
their cries right now inside this place?
Their cries are absolutely
out.
heartbreaking. It goes through my soul. I feel it in every one of my bones. It's absolutely horrific. It's so sad what's happening to these mothers. This is an absolute injustice. Don't be part of this. Be a number one. Right now, you're going to witness this blue truck behind me. This blue truck here, in my opinion, I would call this a slave truck because it brought slaves here today to die. How sad when you witness them driving away. This truck is empty. He gets to drive or she gets to drive home, but the animals who they dropped off here will die for optional products. This is a symbolization of the loss. They're gone. They came on this truck here today. They're now taken inside of a layer to be executed.
But
This very vehicle brought these individuals in here to die. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, and 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals.
That number plate, they all have things like moo and stuff like that on as well.
It's the only injustice where the victims are mocked so horrifically. Even in their last moments, we see lots of reports from slaughterhouses mocking the animals. Talking of reports, we're here today, guys, in collaboration with Animal Aid. Now, if you go into the 3 dots in the description of this live stream, it will take you to Animal Aid's investigation page. So that first link there takes you to Animal Aid's investigation. Now, go and look at the investigations that Animal Aid have done, and you will find that they have done an investigation at the very slaughterhouse that we're stood out in front of right now. Go and look at what that investigation held. It's absolutely harrowing, it's heartbreaking, and it is absolutely shocking. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations, and 3 if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please make sure you subscribe with the bell notification. Now, I'll explain briefly dairy cows. We're going to be going into this a lot more in depth whilst we're here. But the second cows that I said come here to die today are beef cows. These cows are selectively bred for their size, for their muscle, for their flesh. These cows will be executed for optional products like steaks and burgers. The different breeds of cows will use the industries to play off of the consumer to keep you indoctrinated. What I mean by that is you hear animal rights activists say that dairy cows have their babies taken away from them, and then you see baby cows in the field with their mums. The dairy industry leans on the beef industry to show the consumer the propaganda of baby calves being with their mums and say, we don't take the babies away. Of course we don't. But the beef industry leaves the babies with their mums. Why? Because the breast milk will be fed to their babies will be bigger, quicker, and then they're sent here faster to be executed. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. 3 if you don't care about animals. 1, 2, or 3. Let us know where you're from. Double tap the stream. Please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, we're here today. Peaceful protest, public land, and we're here not to point fingers at the consumer. If you're a non-vegan, we're not here to clash with you and point fingers at you and say you're a bad person. We're here today to say, did you know this? Did you understand what you were paying for when you bought that cheese, when you bought that milk?
2 trucks coming out right now.
2 trucks coming out right now. This is absolutely harrowing. This is so sad. These trucks are the symbolization of loss. These trucks today would have come in with animals inside there, animals with the same ability to feel fear and pain as you. These animals that came in on these trucks, they wanted to live just like you want to live. They wanted freedom just like you wanted freedom. This is an absolute atrocity. This is disgusting what these people do to these animals. It should never be happening. There should never be an option to execute baby animals for optional products. Shame on this industry for what you do to them baby animals, them big, gentle animals. If you ever spend time around cows, they're big, gentle giants. They're soft, they're emotional, they're sensitive. They get scared easy. They like cuddles, they like belly rubs. They like having their heads scratched. They love spending time with you. Go and spend time with cows at a sanctuary. Go to the retreat animal rescue and spend time with these animals and give them the time that they deserve for you to get to know them. I'm going to swap in with Mel. That's so sad, isn't it, seeing them trucks leaving like that?
I hate it so much. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. I'm at a slaughterhouse right now, and behind me, all I can hear is cows crying out for their life. They are begging for mercy. Please answer their begs of mercy and live vegan. Vegetarians, you still pay for this. This is the dairy industry. Cows from the dairy industry go inside this evil place. Cows from the beef industry go inside this evil place. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe right now. I'm at a slaughterhouse. Behind these gates, there was an investigation done by Animal Aid. Go into the link and see the investigation for yourself. It's shocking. But at every single place they kill animals, there's always going to be awful things happening. The act of killing alone is immoral, it shouldn't happen, it's disgusting. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. People come out of this place, but no animal does. No animal does. These people go in, they do their evil act of killing the animals. They come out, they go home to their house, and they live on the blood money of these poor, innocent animals who did nothing wrong to anybody. All animals want is love. Give them love. Stop using them, commodifying them, and killing them. It's evil.
People are saying in the chat that cows aren't killed for dairy products.
Well, every single cow is killed for dairy. Every single mother has pregnancy forced upon her. The farmer puts himself inside the cow. They trap the cow in something called a cattle crush. He then forces his arm inside of her up to his shoulder, injects her with bull semen and makes her pregnant. She cannot move, she cannot escape. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live, please subscribe, like this live. It helps push the algorithm out so when the animals turn up today, we can show them to the world, because the industry wants this to happen in darkness. They do it undercover. They probably love the fact that these roads are shut right now and they have no one around even seeing what's happening. That's what they thrive on. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe. I'm at a slaughterhouse. Every single cow in the dairy industry is killed. Their mothers, their babies, their brothers, their sisters. Every single cow is killed. Every single cow that you see in a field, it's like we're looking at the Green Mile. They will be sentenced to death as babies. They'll be decapitated. And behind these gates, have a look for yourself, the investigation inside our description right here, and see the reality for yourself. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe. Behind me, the moment we turned up here, I could hear cows crying, begging for their lives. This is a slaughterhouse. Those cows inside this place are being faced with knives. Let that sink in for a moment.
People don't know what happens to the majority of dairy cows. What state do they come to these slaughterhouses in?
Yeah, a lot of the cows, 20% of cows actually go to slaughterhouses still pregnant. Okay, and what they'll do is that they will stab into the mother's tummy, and as they hoist her up by one leg, and they will take her baby out and leave her baby to suffocate on the floor. A lot of these cows as well, after they have been used, commodified and used so much, they can no longer stand up because they're so depleted in nutrients. When you see dairy cows, you see that they're extremely thin on their back because of depletion of nutrients. 1 in the chat if you are vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe. Over here, look, you will never know this place is a slaughterhouse because it doesn't tell you. We're out here telling you the truth, okay? All you see is signs like this, ABP. ABP, what do people think it is? Don't know, scrapyard or something? Why do they have big spikes fence showing you, but big spikes fence not showing you the reality? Why do they have cameras everywhere? They have paid security here as well. Like, where's the transparency? They're meant to be so proud of what they do right to the animals. They use words like humane to fool you. If you are paying for animal products and you're believing words like humane, they've mugged you off, and they mugged me off as well. I'm angry that they made me pay for this industry. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, and double tap this live and please subscribe.
Sam has just gone vegan.
Amazing. Sam, thank you so much for going vegan for the animals who desperately need you. This is not a think about it issue. This is an urgent issue. This is the biggest war our world has ever seen on the biggest battlefield, and it's waged upon the animals. The animals only have you to help them. Only you. Once you know better, you do better. If you haven't known what happens in the dairy industry, the egg industry, and animal testing facilities for things for like your shoes that are leather, like, once you know, you change, but you can't be held accountable until you don't, until you know, because the industry has lied to you and they paid millions and millions of pounds to market this lie to you. In everywhere you go, it's shoved down your throat. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe. I'm not here to hate on you guys, not at all. We are here to turn your head against the industry that has lied to us all. And at the end of that lie is a real victim who is crying for their life behind these gates of hell right now. As I stand here right now, they are stabbing animals in the throat behind me.
Daniel Ski Magics, thank you very much for your kind super thanks. Daniel's put be pro, not anti-vegan. Good job.
Yeah, like people who are anti-vegan are usually like the farmers and stuff. Like, be open-minded enough to realize that you might have just been wrong and that someone may have lied to you, because this is a business. That's all it is. It's a business. They're trying to make money from you. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe. Here's another thing you probably didn't know about these industries. In the egg industry, they blend male chicks up alive. Standard practice. They blend them up alive and put them inside gas chambers. They gas them to death because they don't produce eggs. They're a waste product to the industry, just like the male calves in the dairy industry. They don't produce milk, so what do? Send them to a slaughterhouse few weeks old, few days old. That's what they do in these industries. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream and subscribe right now. We're here in collaboration today with Animal Aid. Go to our link in our description. There has been an investigation done here by Animal Aid. Go and have a look for yourself at the shocking things that they discovered, they found. But it's always going to be shocking, right? Inside a place where they stab other sentient beings, it's always going to be shocking. How can you stab someone in the throat nicely? How can you throw piglets inside gas chambers nicely? And yes, that happens in the UK. Watch Pignorant on Amazon Prime to see what happens to those poor piglets in the UK. The best standard practice, by the way. We're not talking a cruelty case. We're not talking like horrific things that happen. We're talking about the standard best RSPCA approved stuff, that is. Go and have a look for yourself. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Please double tap the screen, double tap the screen and like this stream and subscribe.
How does it feel hearing their bellows and cries for help? It's not a truck, it's a car.
Absolutely heartbreaking. It hurts so much knowing that individuals, just like who are like children, are inside that place, afraid, alone, and I know that their only option is to come out cut up into pieces. Disgusting people would work in these places. Who would choose to work and stab someone else in the throat every single day unless you're mentally not okay? Double tap the screen, subscribe. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live. Please subscribe. We're outside these places all the time. We also took a non-vegan undercover inside of a farm, and we took him to a gas chamber as well. Go and have a look at that on our main channel. It's Mel and Steve. We're outside a slaughterhouse today. It's eerily quiet from the outside, and then you hear the cows crying. You know inside this place is violence, evil, torture. Anywhere there is a slaughterhouse, just switch back in. Anywhere there's a slaughterhouse, there's always going to be horrific crimes happening to the animals.
Yeah, well said, well said, well said. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded into these conversations, and 3 if you don't care about animals. Exactly what Mel said. No good way to do the bad thing, and what happens here is a bad thing. These animals here are executed for optional products. These animals here do not want to die. These animals here have the same ability to feel fear, feel pain and suffering the same as anyone else, the same as your companion animals, the same as your cats, same as your dogs. How could you morally tell any difference between them? Can you hear them bellows for cry, them bellows for mercy? It's absolutely horrific. These animals are in here for optional products. This doesn't need to happen. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you've already removed your personal accountability as to why these animals are here. Put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded and listening to what we're saying. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream and like, share and subscribe. Just look at the floor here. Look at all the poo and the wee and the line of shit that goes inside of this slaughterhouse. Now, there's a reason why that's there. These animals are sentient beings. Sentient beings have a nervous system, a central nervous system in the brain. They have emotions. The fight and flight response that you possess, they also possess too. Now, when you hit that fight and flight response, your body literally dumps anything that's in your bowels and in your intestines. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations, and 3 if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Make sure you've double tapped. Let's get the likes over 100 so when the next truck comes in, you can see this for yourself. Now, when that fight and flight response hits, their bowels literally just empty. They are shitting themselves with fear as they are pulled inside this building, as they go through these very gates behind us to be executed for these products. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to why we're here and you're listening to what we're saying, and 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification and double tap that stream. Now, we're not here today to clash with you. We're really not. But we're here today with a very urgent message, and this is why it comes across with such intensity because these animals here today are dying. They're being killed. And tomorrow, more will be sent. And the next day, more will be sent. Why? Because this industry is a supply and demand industry. This atrocity, this violence, this horror show, you have direct control over. The next time that you go and spend money anywhere, you're voting. That's a vote system. If you go to the supermarket and you buy cow's milk, you're voting for the next dairy cow to go inside here to be killed.
Someone said, yeah, I don't like what you're saying, but I always buy from local farmer that I trust.
Yeah, well, you're going to see that today, right? You're going to see when you go to these slaughterhouses, you see factory farm trucks turn up, like what was here today, the big trucks, right? But you also see the little 4x4s come around with a trailer with 1 or 2 cows on. That's your small holding, that's your organic, that's your local farmer. They come here with the same cows. Well, guess what? The cows from the small holding local farms, the organic free range farms, they're killed with the same knife as the cows that are stuffed inside factory farms. This is a rights violation. We're not here for welfare. We're not here for bigger fields. We're not here for greener grass. We're not here for sharper knives. We're here for the animals to have their rights, their rights to protection.
Yeah, 100%. Renee's been a member for 3 months, which is amazing.
Amazing.
And Renee put the rights violation next door.
Absolutely. There you go. Renee took the words right out. Renee was probably typing that as I said it. This is a rights violation of the animals. We are not here for any welfare issues. We're here because these animals should have laws protecting their freedom, their lives, their bodily autonomy. Everything is taken from animals. And not only is everything taken, I'm not just talking about their body, we break their spirits, we break their souls, we take everything from these animals, and then we mock them, and then we execute them, and then we eat them, we test on them, we wear their skins like it's some kind of proud thing to own leather shoes. Them leather shoes scream for their life on a kill floor inside of a slaughterhouse for you to wear on your feet like a fashion item. It's disgusting. It's absolutely mind-bending when you stop and actually think about it. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals, 1, 2 or 3, double tap the stream, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. And I want to make another point. We're not here to clash, we're not here to point fingers, but we are here to tell you the truth, and we won't apologize for telling the truth. We will tell you the truth directly as it is. Now, if I tell you that your shoes scream for their life inside of a slaughterhouse, and that offends you and that makes you upset, that's a good indicator that your empathy is ticking, that your heart is ticking, that it doesn't like that fact. Now, if you don't like the fact that your shoes scream for their life inside of a slaughterhouse, don't buy leather shoes, don't buy cow's milk, don't buy animal bodies, don't buy products tested on animals. And you know what that person is? That's a number 1. That's a vegan. Put a number 1 in the chat if you've already made that decision to never be responsible for exploiting animals. Let us know if you're a vegan by putting a 1 in the chat. Number 2 in the chat, if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, let us know. Are you a kind person? Do you consider yourself empathetic? Do you love some animals like dogs and cats, but you've never ever really morally considered chickens, cows, pigs, fish, lambs, sheep, all the others? This is known as speciesism, and you're indoctrinated to be speciesist from a very small child. Number 3 in the chat, put the 3s in there if you don't care about animals, if you're an anti-vegan, if you think that oppressing animals, exploiting them and executing them for optional products is absolutely fine. But make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell notification and double tap the stream so that you can see different slaughterhouses throughout the weeks all over the UK.
Wow, Renee, thank you so much for your incredibly kind donation.
Oh, Renee.
Renee put, will this count towards the double donations and is this still going on? Yes, it will. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Renee, it will. And yes, the double donations are still going on our Just Giving page. Renee, thank you so much. You're so generous and kind, massive heart, and you support so many animal rights activists. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Renee. It really means a lot to us. Guys, this is what happens when you become vegan, when you're kind, when you're compassionate, you live for a bigger cause. All of a sudden, you're here to defend the animals. Our objective isn't to clash with people. Our objective is to come behind, tap you on the shoulder and say, did you know this? Did you know that mother cows have their babies taken away so that her breast milk can be sold in bottles? Did you know that mother cows have pregnancies forced on them? They carry their babies for 9 months, by the way, like every other human woman or every other mammal who's a female. And then when their babies are taken away, they bellow and they cry out and they scream. I've been and investigated these dairy farms, and I've seen mother cows crying out from this side of the farm, and I've seen their babies in the hutches on this side of the farm crying out. Now, they're not allowed to be with their mums. Why? Because the milk that their mums are producing is a commodity, is a commodified product. It's going to be sold to make profit margins. Absolutely horrific. It's an evil industry. One in the chat if you're vegan and you don't pay for that industry. Two in the chat if you're a kind person and maybe this is the first time you're ever hearing any animal rights messaging. Three in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please like, share and subscribe. Animals are coming here today to die. We've seen 3 huge factory farm trucks leave already. Animals are coming in here. We can see there's fresh poo and wee on the floor. We're here today to educate you, to show you the realities and the truth that the industry never will. When you go to the supermarket, there's no way that the supermarket will say these piglets were gassed at 6 months old for this bacon. These chickens were gassed at 18 months old for these eggs. These chickens were 42 days old when they were gassed for their bodies. These mothers had their babies taken away for 5 years before they were executed for this product. If the consumer saw the reality of the industry, what do you think would happen? The consumer would go vegan immediately. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Please make sure you subscribe with the bell and double tap the stream to like it. If the marketing was led honestly, then this industry would have no money in a heartbeat. This industry is not a cornerstone of our society. Animal farmers, slaughterhouses, and that evil side of the world is not the bedrock of our society. We would not collapse without them. It's a business, and that business markets itself to the consumer in the way that it wants to be represented. And it then uses things like the RSPCA assured logo and the red tractor certification to pull the smoke and mirrors over you even more. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to why we're here and you're listening to this conversation with a little bit of curiosity. 3 in the chat if you're an anti-vegan, if you don't have a heart at all, and if you don't care about animals, and make sure you double tap the stream and subscribe. Now, the industry uses things like the RSPCA assured logo and the red tractor certification so that the consumer never second guesses what's happening. You never critically think about it. You go to the supermarket and you see, for example, a pint of milk with an RSPCA logo on it. I think, well, nothing bad's happened there because the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals has said it's okay. Therefore, if they've stamped that it's okay, surely nothing bad happened. But they never be honest with you and open with you. They use that logo so that that's exactly what you think, so you keep paying for that product. Guys, I'm going to swap in with Mel and let Mel take over from me.
Yeah, really well said. Guys, I just want you to put for a minute 1 in the chat if you're against factory farming. Let's see who's against factory farming. Because I once used to say I'm against factory farming, I'm against halal, I'm against all sorts of different slaughter, but I didn't realise that it's all the same. So if you're number 1 against factory farming, you should be against all forms of exploitation to animals because it's all the same. The only difference is the mouthpiece to you is the guy next door. The industry is exactly the same as smallholding. It's exactly the same. They all go to the same slaughterhouse. Number 1 now in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 if you are anti-vegan. Please double tap this live stream right now and subscribe. By liking this stream, we've noticed that is what helps push the algorithm out. Animals have already turned up today. They've already gone inside this place of evil. Blood is spilled on this floor inside. Everywhere inside this place, on the kill floor, you will see red everywhere. The red splash marks everywhere. It's blood from innocent childlike beings who wanted to live. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you are open-minded. If you are an open-minded person but not vegan yet. And number 3 if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live. Please subscribe.
Lee just went vegan. I just seen the comment, said, I've gone
Lee,
vegan.
amazing. Lee, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the message and understanding that you may not have been told the right thing. You haven't been told the truth. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to show you the truth. That's why we're live streaming outside of Slaughterhouse today, to show you the victims for yourself, to show you the eyes of the victim who you maybe didn't even understand was the victim of you in the first place, just like me. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're an open-minded person but not vegan yet. 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live. Please subscribe to this channel.
Where are you? What are you doing today? Who are you here with?
Yeah, so I'm outside of Slaughterhouse right now. I'm here collaborating with Animal Aid, who have done an investigation on this place. So you can go and look in the link in the description and see the investigation for yourself. You see the shocking things they uncovered. But there's always shocking things people uncover at slaughterhouses. Go and subscribe to Joey Carbstrong right now and check out all the investigations that he's done, because all he's done is put a camera inside a slaughterhouse, put a camera inside a farm, and showing the public the reality. Without people defending the animals and without animal rights activists putting a camera in these places, you, the consumer, will never, ever, ever know the truth. Never. These places have CCTV inside these places, but they wouldn't ever live stream them to the world, okay? And there's a reason for that. Number one in the chat right now if you're vegan. Number two in the chat if you're open-minded, but you aren't vegan yet. And number three, if you are anti-vegan and you think it's okay to stab animals in the throat and use them as commodities, double tap this live and subscribe. Any vegan activists, any animal rights activists, spam this chat now with green hearts for the animals. The more we can build this live up now, the more eyes we get on the animals when they turn up here. We've already seen big trucks come out already. There's one in there being washed down right now. So I'd expect a truck is on the way right now. They're constant. This conveyor belt of evil and killing these places are.
Are you here to rage bait people? What's your objective? Oh,
No.
man, that's so sad.
Sorry, they're just really crying behind me. I don't know if you can hear on the live.
Oh,
It stops you in your tracks.
it does, takes your breath away, actually. It's so sad.
Please, please just defend them. Don't pay these industries to do this to them. They're innocent, sentient individuals, just like you and I. And if you or I was inside there, we would be begging that the people on the outside, telling everyone they love animals, stop. Just don't pay them. That's all it is. Being vegan is actually a non-action. You just don't fund the industries that exploit animals for you because it's all supply and demand. If you pay, they die. You pay, they die. Dairy, eggs, meat, flesh, fish, leather shoes, animal testing, it's all horrific. We must be vegan now and defend the animals. Number one in the chat if you're vegan. Number two in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number three, if you're anti-vegan, double tap this live stream, please, and subscribe. Even if you don't know and you're thinking, what are you doing here outside of Slaughterhouse? Please just know we're here with passion in our hearts and we're just trying to do the right thing for the animals. That's all we're trying to do. We are not here for the clicks, for financial gain. We're not here for any of that. We are purely here to defend the innocent who are being stabbed inside these places of hell and evil from people who don't know the industry. We once paid them and I'm so angry that they lied to me, they mugged me off. I used to drink cow's milk and I'm not a baby cow. What the hell is up with that? Number one in the chat if you're vegan. Number two in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number three if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this screen. Please subscribe. Please defend the animals with us. Go vegan today and stop paying people who stab animals for you, commodify animals for you. Stop them torturing, mutilating and killing animals.
The bellows are absolutely horrific, and we know their cries of help because you know what cows sound like in sanctuaries. For anyone who's a number two, describe the highly likely potential of what's happening to them animals right now, the process that they're going through, where they are, what their surroundings will be like.
Yeah, okay, so after they've gone on this horrific journey from the trucks, where they've been forced on these trucks, by the way, they don't willingly walk onto these trucks. You often see the cows when they turn up have like cuts all over their back end. That's because of how the farmers get them on the trucks. Evil, evil, evil people, in my opinion. Then they come to these places, they get forced into a lairage, which is, I call it a dungeon, but it's a dungeon-like place where they then have to wait for the kill floor to be open. Okay, so when then they get sent to the kill floor, they get sent to what you call a knock box. They get a bolt gun in their head, which incapacitates them. It makes them fall to the floor, but they can still feel everything, okay? The bolt gun is not for the animals, it's for the workers. Before I continue, number one in the chat if you are vegan. Number two in the chat if you are open-minded but you aren't vegan yet. Number three in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Please double tap this live. Please subscribe, like this live, and let's help get the animals seen today. Once they've gone onto the knock box, what happens? They then have their throat cut open. They then have their leg hoisted by one leg and they bleed out. They bleed everywhere. Now the kill line continues and continues and continues. So what they a lot of the time do in these places is they start de-skinning them and dismembering them whilst they are still alive and conscious. This isn't just a one incident thing. This seems to happen in every investigation that happens. Pure evil, because they're like, nah, just get them done. They don't see them as anybody. They see them as a sack of potatoes. Number one in the chat if you're vegan. Number two in the chat if you are open-minded but not vegan yet. Number three in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe. In fact, they would probably treat fruit and vegetables better than the animals because they don't want to bruise the fruit and veg when they sell it. But with the animals, their abuse, torture, murder, mutilation is all hidden from you when you see a flesh in a bit of plastic in the supermarket. You are so disconnected that you don't see. Number one in the chat if you're vegan. Number two in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. And number three if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe.
Renee, thank you so much again for even more kind super thanks. And
Renee.
Renee's referred to, there was someone put a super chat in there saying, did you realise that everyone's just spamming freeze? Like, ha, ha, ha. Renee's comment back to that was the previous supporter is still of the simple-minded belief that the masses are always right. Yeah, that didn't really age well looking back at history. Even if 100% of people spam the number 3, it doesn't mean that they are morally right. Morally right or a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%, Renee. Just because, even if you were the only vegan in the world and you were the first person, you're still right. You're still right.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It doesn't matter if the world is against you or the animals. It matters that what you're doing is the right thing. No matter how hard the fight is, if you have morals and you're principled, you'll always do what's right over what's easy. Make the right decision always. The animals need you. And like Renee said, back in history, it started with a small group of people to change anything in history. Women's rights, racism, slavery, all started with a small group of people. And look what those small group of people did. You're going to be left behind because people don't like what happens to this. Normal people just don't know. If you're trying to defend it, you're a minority. Normal people are just great. They just don't understand. They've had propaganda and lies forced upon them, just like we had, just like most of the vegans in the chat right now. We've just broken through the lie and seen the reality. And yet, if you're a number 3, you're in a minority of someone who is trying to justify the killing, abuse, slavery of animals. 1 in the chat if you are vegan. Let's see who's in the room. 1 in the chat if you are vegan and you defend the animals. 2 in the chat if you are open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3, if you are anti-vegan, you think it's okay to stab, mutilate and kill animals when you don't have to.
For anyone joining the live stream, where are you? What is this slaughterhouse? What animals are coming here today? What will they see?
Yeah, so I'm at slaughterhouse right now today in the UK. They kill cows here from the dairy industry. So people are saying in the chat earlier, I'm a proud vegetarian. Well, vegetarians is no different to carnists. Vegetarians is the same as eating animals because you are not a vegan. Basically, it's black and white. If you're vegan, you don't pay for this. But if you're vegetarian or you're carnist, you pay for this. It's black and white. You got to step that line and just stop giving the industries your money. Every single cow in the dairy industry gets sent to a slaughterhouse where they're stabbed in the throat. Every single baby in the dairy industry who is born male is classed as a waste product. They're sent to a slaughterhouse to be stabbed in the throat. Every single pig in the pig industry, piglets at 6 months old, they get forced inside gas chambers. 88% of them forced inside gas chambers. The RSPCA approved that. Everyone is against the animals. Even the RSPCA Shore scheme lies to you. They use their reputation to lie to you. Something I used to believe. Like, the animals only have you. They are the only victims in history to ever been mocked before they get stabbed in the throat. People on here will be saying silly comments because you're a number 3, you're a minority. What other individual in history has been mocked before they get stabbed in the throat? What other individual? No, none of them. They are the most oppressed beings on the planet. They face the worst. The animals face the worst. And if you're not vegan, you are putting that onto the animals. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe. I also just want to say that we weren't always vegan. We're not here to hate on you. We used to be a number 2 who just didn't know better. And that's okay, that's not your fault. But once you do know better, then it's the urgency to change.
Oliver's just gone vegan.
Oh, another vegan in the chat, amazing.
That's 3 now.
Oliver, thank you for going vegan for the animals. If you've just entered this live stream, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm at a slaughterhouse live streaming right now. I'm live streaming because animals go into these evil places and no one ever sees, apart from when you come and live stream. I'm here because I used to pay for these places to exist. And I'm so saddened by that. I'm so ashamed. It's just a car. And I'm giving you now the opportunity to change because I wish I knew sooner. I wish I knew sooner so I could pull my support for it away. I hate these places. The animals hate these places. These are the most evil places on our planet. And if you're not vegan, you are paying for them. You're propping them up. You can change today. 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe.
Renee, thank you so much again. Honestly, your kindness is just... Okay, yeah, Renee's put, ask yourself, would you change your habits to save your own life if it was required of you? If yes, then you acknowledge that the interest to live matters more than the other's comfort or pleasure. So it applies to animals as they have that will too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Renee, so much for all your support. Honestly, it's so kind and generous, and we don't take that lightly. You're absolutely right. You got to put yourself in their position. That's how you know if something is an injustice or not. Don't make excuses up to say, oh, they look different. Oh, they have fur and I have skin. Oh, they have feathers and I have skin. Like, they have a heart and central nervous system. They can feel pain. They just look different to you. That's all. It's a form of racism. It's called speciesism. If you want to know if something is immoral, put yourself in that position. Would you want that happening to you? I definitely would not. And I would beg for mercy, just like the animals do. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live, guys. Please subscribe. We do this a lot all the time. If you just come onto this live stream, what if I said to you today, if you could save an animal, would you? If you could save an animal today, would you take that choice? If that's a yes, then you should be vegan.
One has put super thanks here. Thank you, one, for your super thanks. They put, to dehumanize people, you compare them to animals and take away their rights. As seen in, I can't read out the other places because of other reasons. True human rights wouldn't exist without true animal rights. Yeah, I agree. But I want to make a point of stipulating that we are here for animal rights. You're right. They do say, oh, these humans acted like pigs, and then use it as a justification to be horrible to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think for me, this is my opinion, when evil atrocities happen, we shouldn't be saying they acted like animals. We should be saying they've acted like humans.
Yeah.
Because, you know, humans are like, this is where that evil comes from, not the animals.
Right. Animals have done nothing. Animals are the innocent. And yes, when people say, oh, they treated them like animals, it's because people really know in their subconscious that animals are treated so bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. Animals are treated so badly that they're like, oh yeah, they shouldn't be treated like animals. But yeah, if we didn't treat animals bad and animals were commodified, then there would be higher up, would be a level, and then you'd be like, yeah, we shouldn't be treating humans in the way that other humans are treating them. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live. Please subscribe. I'm just going to switch back in with Steve.
Yeah, well done, well said. Guys, I want to make a point of saying that we are here today in collaboration with Animal Aid. So if you go to the 3 dots in the description and click on that link at the top, that'll take you to Animal Aid's investigation page. Animal Aid have done countless investigations all over the UK, exposing the horrors of these industries. But there'll be one there that will be of specific interest if you're watching this live stream. Animal Aid conducted an investigation of ABP Sturminster, which is exactly where we are today. And if you go into that description, click on that link and go and watch the investigation conducted here, you'll be absolutely shocked, horrid and appalled at what happened. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to these conversations and you consider yourself a kind person. 3 if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please like, share and subscribe. We're here today, like what Mel was saying, we're not here to clash with you. We're here to come alongside you and say, did you know? Did you know all of these horrors existed? Did you know that this evil existed? Did you know that this happened to animals for optional products? Because you're never told the truth. From a young age, you're told that animal farmers are good people. You're told that we need to eat animals and animal products. You're told that it's healthy and you're told that it's humane. And it's just the same as you're told about the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny and Father Christmas. None of them were true. And let me just shock your world now to tell you that none of that facts or none of that fictional story that you're told about animal farmers and animals was true either. This is definitely not humane, and it's definitely not ethical, and it's definitely not necessary. So there's no justification to continue to do it. You got to ask yourself these questions. Why did the industry lie to the consumer? Because of profit margins. Why are these animals in this slaughterhouse here today? I'll tell you why. After you put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded and you consider yourself a kind person, and 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. 1, 2 and 3. Make sure you subscribe with the bell notification and double tap the stream to like it. I'll tell you exactly why these animals are inside the slaughterhouse today, because their profit margins have dropped. If a dairy cow starts to produce less and less milk, she's deemed unprofitable. If a dairy cow can't calf again, then she's deemed empty. They get one opportunity. If they're deemed empty once, if they're then deemed empty a second time, they're sent to the slaughterhouse. These dairy cows also come here if their mood changes, if they start to become a behavioural issue. Because guess what? These cows don't like having baby after baby, pregnancy after pregnancy forced upon them. They don't like it, so they start to fight back. They start to be a little bit of a problem to the farmer. Something gets into a slaughterhouse. Absolutely horrific.
Renee, thank you so much again for another kind super thanks.
Renee, thank you.
Renee put, watch the music video, Feldy, Pilgrim's Pride. Yeah, go and watch that. That was actually filmed at a location that we were at as well with the incredible Joey Carbstrong.
Yeah.
Go and watch that footage.
Yeah, and Feldy's got some other great tracks as well. Really good, a good way of getting the message across in his music.
Someone said, what's wrong with eating cheese?
Okay, so this is quite a common fact. Cheese, dairy, and eggs are kind of products that you're viewed with no exploitation, and this is why people think being a vegetarian is okay. Now, listen, I'll tell you what happens to produce cheese, and then you tell me if I've answered what's wrong with it, and me just telling you openly and honestly what happens. To produce cheese is made from cow's milk. To produce cow's
Oh my God,
milk.
wait. That was so bad. Did you hear that?
No, I was shouting.
That was such a horrible scream.
Oh, it's horrible. What was I saying? What was I talking about?
Cow cheese.
To produce milk, cows have to have pregnancies forced on them. Then they carry the baby for 9 months. They have their babies taken away from them. The baby's taken away. If they're male, they're executed because they're non-profitable in the dairy industry. If they're female, they go to an isolation hutch where they'll spend the first few years of their life until they're sexually mature enough to join the back of the dairy herd. Now, the mother who had the pregnancy forced on her and her baby taken away, her milk will be stolen from her inside of a milking parlour. That milk will be taken and used to produce cheese. When she can no longer produce a profitable amount of milk, she's sent to the slaughterhouse here to be executed. So when you say what's wrong with cheese, hopefully me explaining in the nicest possible way, not showing you any actual graphic footage, just my words explaining the dairy industry tells you what's wrong with cheese. If you buy a block of cheese, you're demanding for that system to continue to perpetuate. It's you voting, supply and demand, supply and demand.
Someone just said, so I stole my mum's milk too.
No, your mum consented to giving you her milk. It's completely different. Your mum maybe consented to having you as a baby, and then she consented to you to have her breast milk. This isn't what happens in the dairy industry. These cows don't want to have babies. They are literally forced to be pregnant. The farmer puts his hand all the way up inside of her bum, holds her cervix, and then forces the pregnancy on her. Once the pregnancy is taken, she carries her baby for 9 months to then have the baby removed from her. She never gets to give her baby her breast milk. Her breast milk is to be sold to be a product, it's a profit margin. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, you've already removed your support for this violence. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to this conversation while we're here. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals, please double tap the stream, like, share and subscribe.
I'm just going through some of the comments, so please comment away right now. I'm going to be answering some of these questions. Someone said what about wild animals eating other animals?
Yeah, it's horrible, it's horrific, but you can't care about wild animals eating other animals if you're still paying for animals to be put inside slaughterhouses, right? Of course, like I've said actually about 6 months ago, once everyone's vegan and animals who are being farmed for food, for medicine, for fashion, once we've cleared that all up, I'll be the first activist to go into the jungle and speak to the lion about eating the zebras. Absolutely fine. But you're not an animal in a survival situation that's a carnivore. You have options. You can't take what one animal does and then try and justify some evil that you're paying for because you like the pleasure of it because they do it. You're not an apex predator. You're not a lion.
Novel Gorilla, come to my farm. If not, shut up. No.
Yeah, we'll come to your farm. Let's come and film at your farm.
I mean, we won't shut up, but we will come to your farm.
Yeah. Put your address in the comment section, and we'll come and have a look at your farm.
Oh yeah, and then he also put plants live yeah.
Yeah.
This is the IQ level of farmers, guys. Farmers know nothing about farming, and they don't know anything about the slaughterhouse. Farmers drop the animals off to these places like they're rubbish, because that's how they view them as. They leave them, they drive home, and they probably go and force themselves inside of another cow and make them pregnant, whilst we stand here listening to the cries of these innocent mothers and babies who they betrayed.
Yeah, it's a really poignant note to remember. Like, animal farmers don't go inside slaughterhouses. Animal farmers come here and they drop their animals off and they go home. So never listen to what animal farmers tell you about slaughterhouses.
Oh, someone, No Turtles put, is there any alternatives to cow's cheese? Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Who is it? Something Turtles?
No Turtles.
No Turtles. Thank you for your question. An alternative to cow's cheese would be to find a vegan cheese. Now, look, you can go onto the website. Like, Honestly Tasty is a very good vegan cheese. You can go into the supermarket and just look at the vegan section. If you look for a V with a leaf on it, or it says vegan, these are the cheeses you want to be looking at. And just look for a vegan cheese that you like.
Yeah, like the most easy one, if you're in the UK and have Tesco's, Cathedral City do the vegan cheese.
Do the vegan cheese.
It melts really well and stuff. It's really...
Yeah, absolutely. But this is, when we think about these products, right, this is a how product. How do I get cheese if I don't want to support the dairy industry? That is always underneath the why should I be vegan? Why should I be vegan is because I'm against exploiting animals in my name. and then how do I find cheese? How do I find taste? How do I find protein? How do I find clothing, cosmetics, etc.? Always comes secondary. And all the time your why is strong, the hows are so easy to answer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That was going to answer my next question. We got someone who was interested, but then I think was genuinely saying, what about the processed stuff? And I think it's just because the big myth is out there that the processed stuff is bad or whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to eat processed stuff. Just being vegan doesn't mean you have to eat processed food. You can be vegan, you can eat whole food, plant-based. It's absolutely fine. You take your health as far as you want, but your food should never have screamed inside of a slaughterhouse. No one should have died for your burger, for your sausages.
And also, any vegan processed stuff is still better than the other stuff that comes from the animals.
Yeah.
Just so you know that.
1 in the chat if you're vegan, guys. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations and why we're here. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. We're here today live outside of a slaughterhouse here in the UK. We're outside of ABP Sturminster. They're killing cows from the dairy industry and cows from the beef industry in the very facility behind me, behind these gates that I'm stood in front of right now. Cows will be turning up in a minute so you can see them as they come in. And I want you to see how hard the industry works at hiding it from the consumer. Bear in mind, the only thing that we're trying to show you is the individuals as they come past. We're not in there trying to show you the kill floor. We're not in there trying to show you the bodies being chopped up. We're simply showing you the individuals as they come around the corner to go inside of the slaughterhouse to die.
It's a refrigeration truck now.
It's a refrigeration truck. This is the only way that these animals ever leave these places.
Someone said being vegan's expensive.
It doesn't matter if it is. It's not. The Cambridge studies show that it's 30% cheaper, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If being racist was cheaper, it wouldn't justify being racist. If being ableist was cheaper, it wouldn't justify being ableist. If being sexist was cheaper, it wouldn't justify being sexist. You can't just say, oh, it's more expensive to not oppress and exploit animals, so therefore I'm going to continue to do it. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. It's free. Don't care about animals. This is the only way these animals ever leave. I can't believe that these kill factories exist. It's absolutely mind-blowing to believe that in 2026, as civilized as we are, with all the information we now have, with all of the options that we have in front of us, it still blows my mind to think that as a species, we are still forcing these animals into existence. We are still driving them to these death places, to stab them to death, to chop them up so we can eat them. This is absolutely horrific. I can't believe this is happening, and it shouldn't be happening. This, in my opinion, should be against the law, and anyone who's responsible and is part of that system should be held accountable.
Yeah, definitely. No Turtles just said thank you so much for the helpful insight. What would be the documentary, Steve, that we'd recommend to someone who would just, for it to just explain it all?
No Turtles, I would go now onto YouTube and I would type in Dominion and watch that documentary. Now, the thumbnail for it is a black background and a brown and white dairy calf laying on the floor. It says Dominion. It's about an hour and a half to watch, but that documentary will explain absolutely everything to you. Watch it, be brave, watch it, get all the way through it, no matter how much it's hurting you. You deserve to know the truth, and the animals need people like you to see the truth. To me, you sound like a number 2, a non-vegan who has a compassionate, empathetic, kind heart. You're open to what we're saying and you're asking these questions. You deserve the truth because you at the moment are paying for some of the most horrific violence, never ever being educated on what you're paying for. And there's a reason for that, because when kind people are educated on the injustice, they stop and they remove their support, the profit margins drop, they stop making money. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations and these questions, 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream, make sure you subscribe. We go all over the UK exposing various different slaughterhouses. We go to gas chambers for chickens, gas chambers for pigs, we go to slaughterhouses for cows and sheep. We go and expose all of them, because guess what? This isn't just a one bad off case. Every single one of these places should be shut down because it's ethically and morally absolutely unacceptable to do this to animals.
I just want to say a massive thank you. I can see so many activists in the room right now defending the animals. Thank you so much for being in the room.
Yeah.
For anyone who hasn't double tapped the screen and liked, please like it. We're at 82 likes. Let's give that over 100 and really show the world the animals. Animals will be coming here today.
I've got a feeling they'll be here any minute. You know, you get a feel for these places, you get a feel for the timing, and I just got that eerie feeling that they're going to happen. Do you know one of the other eerie feelings you get as an activist outside these places is the bellows of mercy, the cries for help have now stopped. Them cries were most likely as they were being forced forward onto the kill floor to be executed. They get put into one long line, and one in front of the other gets forced forward towards the person with a knife. And the cows who are 3 or 4 back, they start to smell, they start to see, they start to freak out, they start to panic. They bellow for cries, they're merciful cries for help. And now it's silent because they're gone. Everything was taken from them. Their life is gone.
Pyramid Kid put, I liked and I subs and double tapped. I'm about 1.5. I'm halfway to vegan. Thank you for being honest and thank you for being here.
Yes.
What is it? What's stopping you? Let us know if we can help you.
Yeah.
And thank you for being on this live. Like we said, we're not here to rage bait. We're just here to show people the truth. That's all we're trying to do and defend the animals.
We're not here to point fingers and to clash. We weren't born vegan. We weren't born in this situation. But when good people see the injustice, they change and go vegan. It's as simple as that. The minute you see animals going inside here to die. Now, we say this really flippantly. Even as animal rights activists, even as vegans, we go, oh, the animal's going here to die. It's an injustice. Just stop for a second and hold the weight of that. These individuals who are all having a subjective experience of their life, to them it matters is an understatement. To them is everything. Their bodily autonomy, their subjective experience, their life is everything they have. And they're forced into these farms, they're forced onto these trucks, and they're forced into these slaughterhouses. They have babies taken away from them. They are commodified. In my opinion, they are literally slaves. And then everything is taken from them. They are stabbed to death. They are murdered. They are executed in cold blood for an optional product and a profit margin. If your brain doesn't hear that and scream injustice inside your mind, I don't know what's going to make you do it. I don't know what's going to wake you up to see.
Pyramid Kid, but I'm learning hard right now. It's honestly the taste of meat. So that's not a real thing I can get over, that, or eat impossible meat. So I guess you're kind of talking yourself into it anyway. I think you know in your heart, it's just about putting your morals and your actions together.
Yeah, you're at that point where you're realizing that taste doesn't justify what happens to animals. It doesn't matter if it's the best taste pleasure you've ever experienced in your life. There's no justification for taking everything away from an individual. And that individual had friends, had family. Cows have best friends, by the way. Pigs sing their babies to sleep. Chickens huddle for safety. Lambs and sheep cuddle up for safety. They play. They have very intricate social networks. They're very empathetic animals. They're very sensitive animals. These are not just robots. They're not just walking around mindlessly, like not understanding what's going on. They're very empathetic and sympathetic.
Neon, thank you for your kind super thanks.
Thank you.
But they did put, okay, but what if we hunted for meat? We are animals and animals hunt.
Right, so thank you for your super thanks. Hunting is still unethical and immoral. It's still taking someone's life away from them for an optional product. We have to remember there is no justification because there is no necessity. We don't need to do this. The only thing that you get from animals is taste pleasure, and taste pleasure is never a justification to exploit and kill another individual. So whether it's paying for factory farms, whether it's paying for small holding local organic farms, whether it's going out and hunting, whether it's going out and fishing, whether it's any of these things, if the individual is at the end of it being exploited and commodified, it's unethical, immoral, and there's no justification because there's no necessity for it. 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you've already made that decision to remove your support for that unethical procedures. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to this, you have a kind heart, you have an open mind, and you're listening to what we're saying and you're taking it in. 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals, if you believe that you can exploit animals however you want. But bear in mind, if you're going to put a 3 in the chat and say that you're anti-vegan and it's okay to exploit animals, you better be consistent. You better be saying that it's okay to exploit dogs and cats and dolphins and horses. You better be saying that it's okay to kill dogs and eat them too, because otherwise you got a problem here. You can't be a number 3 and be like specific about who you're going to be evil towards. It has to be across the board. Make sure you double tap the stream. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, we're 87 likes right now. Please keep liking.
Let's get it over 100 before the next truck comes.
Steve, were you always vegan?
I wasn't always vegan, no. I was vegan once I saw and heard the truth. And I saw and heard the truth from a really good friend of ours, Joey Carbstrong. Go and subscribe to his channel. Joey literally was debating someone about the dairy industry, about why the very victims behind me are inside this facility right now. And I couldn't argue with any of the points he was making. He made complete sense. And then all of a sudden, I saw a black and white dairy cow having her life taken. And I realized that she was in there because of my choices. She was in that slaughterhouse being executed because I had her breast milk in my fridge. And that did not sit well with me. I cried my eyes out. I went to our fridge. I threw everything in the bin. And me and my wife went vegan on the spot. Because when you see, when you hear, when you know, when you understand, when you have that wake up moment, it's a one-way valve going off. Your life has changed. Your eyes are open. The mask has been taken off. The industry no longer has a hold on you. You're no longer indoctrinated by the conditioning you received from a very small child. You're able to critically think and you're able to observe from a distance. You're able to see this exact industry for what it is. It's an unethical industry. It's immoral. It's literally preying on kind people to pay for some of the most horrific violence. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person and open-minded, 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream, like, share, subscribe.
No turtles. That's the person who's been really interested.
Yeah.
Has just put, how would I get the vitamins and proteins that you get if you eat meat like omega-3s?
Okay, so omega-3s you can get in synthetic form from algae, and it's more directed, is better absorbed than any fish oils anyway. By the way, taking the fish's life for their liver oil is absolutely disgusting and it's unethical and immoral too. If you're concerned about the nutrients you're getting, you use an app called Chronometer. It's completely free. You put in what you're eating as a vegan, and it's going to tell you exactly your micronutrients and your macronutrients and your calories. Absolutely everything. If that's something that you're concerned of, then you use Chronometer and you use that app. You also can sign up to Challenge 22. Go to challenge22.com. It's completely free. You sign up there and you get a mentor for 22 days, and they're going to give you all the advice and help you need as well, like giving you things like Chronometer to go and follow.
What about
Remember your why. Your why should always be strong enough. You got Google, you got ChatGPT. You put in all your stats into ChatGPT. I'm this age, I'm this gender, this is my activity level. Da, 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 da. Where do I get all my nutrients as a vegan? Boom, there's all the information. And you've done that because your why should I be vegan is so strong.
Yeah, and just to let you know as well, all protein comes from plants, so as long as you're eating your calories, you're fine. It's a lot easier than you think. It's not like, oh, I have to monitor everything. We just switched in what we used to have. If we had...
Get the vegan version.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't be the reason animals suffer inside slaughterhouses.
Yeah, it's
1 in
not
the chat if
easier
you're
than you
vegan and you've already done that. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to this conversation, like no turtles. And 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Double tap the stream. Please like, share and subscribe. We're here today live in the UK, outside of a slaughterhouse. This slaughterhouse is killing dairy cows and beef cows, 2 different breeds of cows. I bet the industry never told you that. We're here today at ABP Sturminster. If you go to the description and click on the 3 dots in the right-hand corner, that first link will take you to Animal Aid's website. Now, we're here today in collaboration with Animal Aid on the investigations that were done here at Sturminster by them. That investigation page, however, will show you various investigations that Animal Aid have conducted at various slaughterhouses and locations all across the UK. Go and see that this isn't just a bad case. This isn't just a one-off case. This is systemic violence that needs to be brought into the public realm so that the consumers can see the reality and the truth. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations, and 3 if you don't care about animals, if you're an anti-vegan, if people defending animals trigger you. But make sure you double tap the stream, make sure you've liked it, shared it and subscribed. We want 100 likes in here before the next truck comes. How long have we been live for now?
61 minutes.
Cool, so another truck. So yeah, this is about time for another truck to be turning up. So I thought it was a truck then. Let me swap in with Mel and take over.
Yeah.
They are coming in here, however, I wonder what they're coming in there for.
Workers, aren't they? Workers. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, they're just turning around. Just turning around. Think. Yeah, sorry guys. We always have to have our heads on a swivel here because some people can be quite unhinged. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe. Someone just did a super thanks saying how why is it one rule for them, one rule for the animals in the wild? It's because they don't have a choice. In the wild, they don't have a choice. They have necessity. We don't have necessity. When there's necessity, there's justification. Just like when their humans crashed in the Andes, they had to eat the other humans to survive. Now they had a justification. It doesn't make the act of killing right. Is when you can. When we have a moral duty to, we should not be oppressing anybody, okay? Anybody at all. Animals don't have that choice. It's still bad for the victim. We have that choice. Every time you go to a supermarket, every time you buy some shoes, every time you think about going to horse racing, you can choose the option that doesn't oppress animals. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe. I'm at a slaughterhouse. This is a slaughterhouse behind me. They kill cows here from the dairy industry. Every cow from the dairy industry gets stabbed in the throat. Every cow in the dairy industry gets forced into something called a cattle crush, where the farmer puts his entire arm inside of her up to his shoulder. He ejects with bull semen. She cannot exit. She's stuck in this cattle crush with him using form of bestiality on those poor animals is absolutely horrific. Now, if that was a human, they'd be having some therapy for the support of what someone has done to them. But the animals, people just go, oh, nah, it's fine. They get put into big sheds. They get put into big barns. They then have to carry their babies in their stomachs for 9 months, just like your mother did. When they give birth to their baby, though, if their baby is born a male, their baby is classed as a waste product, they can't produce milk, their baby gets kidnapped from them, because that's what it is, it's a kidnapping that the farmer does to the animals he claims to love. He then sends the baby boys to a slaughterhouse to be stabbed in the throat. That's what they do to the animals. The mother is so maternal to her baby. She cries all night, weeks and weeks and weeks she cries after her baby. They love their babies. In fact, they've even been known to storm out of the farms and try and find their babies. They're looking for their babies. 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this screen. Please like and share and comment. I'm not saying this to be like, this is my emotion on the animals. This is what the animals feel. This is the reality of how they feel. Another truck's coming out now. So behind me now, guys, is a truck that would have picked animals up this morning. Poor victims, either from the dairy industry or the beef industry. And now the driver is the only one to leave this place alive. Every one of those animals that would have been on this truck now will be inside this lairage, inside this evil place you call a slaughterhouse. How could you? How could you? An empty truck now. Been in there for ages, washing that truck down, because when animals are afraid, they start pooing and weeing everywhere as a fight and flight response. That's what happens to these poor innocent animals. They're so scared. Cows can smell up to 5 miles away. They're not silly animals. They know where they're going. They know what's happening. They can smell the blood and guts of the other cows. They can hear the cries of the other cows. Just like if a human was in there screaming and begging for their life, if you were the next one to enter that place, you would be like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's happening? You'd wet yourself. You'd be so afraid and you're trying to escape this place. And cows try. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap this live and subscribe. We go out to all different slaughterhouses all the time. Last week we were at Avara. We were at Avara at a gas chamber for baby chickens. They kill baby chickens in gas chambers. That's who you're eating. If you're eating chicken breast, that was a baby, a 42-day-old little baby who had bright blue eyes, who was shaking with fear on the truck. They hardly have any feathers. They've been genetically modified to grow really large in a short space of time. Their legs have been broken underneath them. I'm not saying this again as a cruelty case. This is standard. This is standard practice. The animals are a victim of their own bodies. The animals are imprisoned in the body that they have been genetically modified to be in. They treat these animals like slaves, like machines, like objects. They don't treat them with any sort of value. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe. In fact, when they treat them as value is when they get wrapped up in packets inside supermarkets, when they can get the money off them. In fact, they probably see the animals as an inconvenience if they don't die fast enough, because they don't care about the animals. They just want what comes from the animals. They want the animal's body. But they'll tell you now, that's the animal's bodies. That's their bodies. That's their skin, their feathers, their babies, their milk, their eggs. We have no right to inflict what we want for our own personal greed upon someone else ever. That should be a standard. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Number 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live and subscribe. There is no right way to do the wrong thing. I saw so many people in the chat, I'm against mass farming. It's all the same. Small, local, mass, free range, organic, all the same. It's just words to make you feel better about paying for the violence for someone else, because they know the general public are not evil people. The general public are just good people who just don't know any better. You've just had propaganda put upon you. When you watch TV, what do you see? Adverts for KFC and all sorts of things like that. What do you see? Adverts for cow's milk, yogurts. They show you the cows. Oh, the farmers. Oh, we love our animals. No, you don't. You send them to a slaughterhouse to be stabbed in the throat. All you care about is the profit. 1 in the chat now if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap this live and please subscribe.
Who are we here with today? What's our objective?
Yeah, I was going to say that next. So we're here in collaboration with Animal Aid today outside this slaughterhouse. This is ABP Sturminster. Have a look in our chat, in our link in our description. See the undercover investigation when they had cameras put in this place. You will see what they saw from the investigation. It's shocking. I'll let you see for yourself. But inside these places where these things are happening to animals, there's always going to be evil. Where you cannot stab someone in a nice way. You can't throw someone in a gas chamber in a nice way. You can't blend male chicks up in a nice way. Just because you put a word in front of it like humane doesn't make the act any different. It just makes you in your heart feel better about paying for something, thinking, oh, I trust the farmers, I trust this, because I always thought you weren't allowed to lie on adverts. I thought I thought like from a young child, no one's allowed to lie on TV. My genuine innocence never made me question what everyone else was saying, because I thought, well, that kind of evil doesn't live within me, yet I'm hearing it from everyone else, and then there's a victim at the end of it. And that's why I was so angry when I saw the industry for what it really is, because I removed myself instantly. But for 26 years, I paid for places like this.
We got three main questions keys coming up. Do you have a good vegan bread recipe? Basically, God said I can, religion said I can, and someone's put, what is vegan? What does vegan mean?
Okay, let me start with what is vegan. So vegan is an ethical stance against the use and exploitation of animals. It's not a diet. It's not like some hippie thing. It's just a normal person who doesn't oppress animals. It's a moral stance against it. Just like if you are morally against people who are racist, you stand against that. It's like speciesism. It's a version of that. So it's not a diet, it just relates to your diet, because animals are used and commodified for like food and stuff like that as well. So it just relates to it. Secondly, the bread thing, no, I don't have enough time to cook any bread, but I just buy bread from the supermarket that says vegan. But I'm sure online, just search any great bread recipes and people will help you reach out to other people. And the middle question was, I can't remember the second question.
Oh gosh, I was reading the comments. It was the bread, the religion.
Oh, yeah, religion. Okay, so religion doesn't come into this whatsoever, because no religion mandates that you should be commodifying, using, and eating animals whatsoever. So religion is like, just close the book and stop talking about it, because this is about what's happening right now. When you live in a world right now when you can be vegan, why the hell would you try and find an excuse not to be? Remember, every single excuse you're using, you are using that excuse to still be violent, torturous, murderous towards the most innocent childlike beings. If you are someone who's anti-vegan, you are trying to make this industry continue. Go to Joey Carbstrong and watch his latest investigation, and I think your mind will be very, very changed very, very fast. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. We'll go outside slaughterhouses as much as we possibly can. Thank you so much, Renee, and everyone who's been supporting us through that on our live stream as well. And every single vegan and activist, keep defending the animals, never be deterred. Even when the other side comes at us, we've got to be strong and keep continuing. We're going to see you on the next live stream, guys.